If there's one rider who's been the topic of conversation this year, it's this guy.
Jackson Goldstone down towards the line. Is it going to be 4 in a row? It is! 0.6 of a second. The first time since Aaron Gwynn did it in 2012. Jackson Goldstone wins 4 UCI Downhill World Cups in a row.
That's right, Jackson Goldstone. He has been on fire. He kicked off the season by winning Red Bull Hardline, then went on to win 4 of the 6 World Cups so far this year, and he was just 1 second off making it a record-breaking 5 wins in a row. But how is he doing all of this? Well, sure, being on bikes, should we say, from a young age, a supportive family, growing up in the riding mecca of Squamish, being mentored by some of the fastest racers out there, and weighing about the same as a mug of tea will help. But is there something that the rest of us can take away from his riding? Well, let's dive in. First things first, let's take a look at his bike. There's nothing too crazy here, with Jackson riding a medium Santa Cruz V10, which is right on the money for his height. He's got a few little trick bits here and there, but overall, it's not a million miles off what you could go out and buy right now. When it comes to setup, one of the main things that stands out are his bars, or more specifically, the angle of his bars. Compared to most other riders, his bars are rolled really far forwards, with his brake levers almost horizontal. So why is that? That bar roll helps get his elbows up and bent, putting him in a great attack position on the bike. Oof, a bit like that. This body position keeps the front end weighted, giving him the most braking and cornering grip possible. Those bent elbows also mean he has a maximum movement in his arms to react to any impact or holes on the track too. When it comes to lever position, that flatter angle helps in 2 ways. When he's riding steeper sections and he's a little further back and lower on the bike, they'll feel in a more, should we say, neutral position. The other reason is that angling his brakes fingers up forces his wrist to drop relative to his bars. This lets him brace against the bars even better, so in big hits he's pushing into the bar rather than pushing over them. Now, if you haven't experimented with your bar and lever angles much, it's worth playing around, even if Jackson himself has said he's been experimenting more this season, adding more bar roll and raising his stem. This is what's giving him that more upright riding position than you can really notice during the signature celebration in that finish area. A lot of people can be set and forget with their setup, but trying out different angles and positions can totally change how you and your bike perform. And best of all, well, that's free to do. Tying in to that attack position, the next cue to take is his head position. If you want to see perfect technique, well, this is it. Watch any skills or coaching video and head position and looking ahead will come up, and for good reason. Looking as far ahead as possible gives you more time to read the trail, pick your line, and prepare for any features coming up. If you look at these clips of Jackson, you can see that his head is forward and up, and he's looking way down the track, and I mean way down. With how much tracks can break down and change through a race weekend, scanning further ahead lets him see things early and react with plenty of time. This helps him pick the smoothest, fastest way down and avoid any ruts, holes, or anything else that might cost him time or even, worst case scenario, cause a crash. Although Jackson is chasing, and we're talking thousandths of a second here, it still benefits us mere mortals too. Your riding will get smoother, you'll feel more confident, and you'll be able to avoid any hazards that might be on the trail. A win-win, right? The first time you go out and try looking further ahead, it will feel weird. I've done it in the past. It's an odd feeling, and we can get used to sort of staring just in front of our wheel, and that takes a lot of practice to break that habit. But keep at it, and it will become second nature. I promise, repetition is key here. Now, watch Jackson compared to nearly any other rider on track, and you'll spot this a mile off, 2 miles maybe. Whereas other riders will try hugging the ground to gain speed, Jackson will be more often than not be hopping over or across anything in sight. He's got a really active, dynamic riding style, and that lets him hit lines and other riders probably wouldn't even spot, like this gap in Andorra. Now compare that to other riders' lines and you can see just how differently he approaches things. While this might seem riskier, it's actually safer in a way, as it means he can skip over some of the worst rocks, roots or holes on the track. It's all about having a proactive, positive approach to using the trail in front of you. This style builds on the skills we've already talked about. By being in that attack position and looking further ahead, he can spot these opportunities to pop over little rocks or roots in the way and avoid getting knocked or bucked by them. You need to work on your bunny hop skills really to get the most out of this, but even little hops here and there might help you avoid a slippy route or awkward rock on the trail. This is, of course, one of the best ways to get faster, as skipping over those nadgery bits of trail and clearing little gaps and really lifts your average speed, but it also is a lot of fun. And, well, more fun, the better. If you're struggling with bunny hops, we've got some great tutorials on the channel about how to perfect your technique and hop higher, so go check them out. And building on that last point, we have line choice. We've already seen how using those hopping skills to open up lines, but he has a creative approach to line choice too. Yeah, it's a little different. Quite often in finals, he'll break out some inside lines or set up for corners in a way nobody else has. I mean, nobody. Steve Jones shadowed Santa Cruz Syndicate manager Steve P earlier this year at Val de Sole. When they were talking through one section of track, they captured Jackson hitting a new line where no one else had gone before. It was a great example of just how he approaches things in a totally different way. Because, of course, it can be easy to fall into a habit of just following the main line when we're riding, but it pays to keep an eye out for opportunities to do things like setting up wide, cutting inside, opening up your cornering angles, and carrying better speed. Might be tricky working these lines out at first, but perseverance, the more you ride them, the easier it will become to spot them. Couple that with remembering to keep looking further ahead, and you'll be riding better in no time. Now, of course, I'm not talking about straight lining everything and cutting across corners here, but using the full width of the trail available. I did a video about this with Ferg recently. I'll drop a link in the description down below if you want to learn more about how to do it. When you watch Jackson's riding closely, you'll start to notice that you rarely see him skidding. Whereas a lot of other riders will be grabbing handfuls of brakes and locking wheels, Jackson's braking control allows him to get maximum braking performance without ever breaking traction. This lets him brake harder and later while keeping his bike more compressed underneath him, essentially hugging the ground. He's getting his braking done before any corners on technical sections, giving him the most grip he has through his tyres and letting him lean and move the bike how he needs to. If you want to work on this skill, it's tricky, but you can do it. Head to a trail you know well and choose a few corners in a row. Make a point of braking early under control, drop those heels, and really push down and weight your bike to get the most grip. Really force it into the ground. You'll aim to avoid locking up either tyre and get your braking done before turning in. As you brake, your weight will shift to the front of your bike. That's kind of only natural, but this gives you more front end grip as well, letting you brake harder with your front brake and get the most stopping done, because that's where a lot of the power comes from. That weight shift means your rear wheel will go lighter, so you have less grip, and will need to be careful with how hard you brake to avoid skidding. Yeah, don't be too grabby, people. As you get more comfortable, you can start moving your braking point later and see how you need to adapt your braking, should we say, to slow down in time. While sometimes skidding is inevitable and can be fun, working on your braking is one of the best ways to make your riding go to the next level. I just mentioned the F word again there, and that is, of course, it's got to be fun. Jackson has become known for his insane course previews, where you can see him styling it up and laughing his way down the track. The guy's always having a good time, right? Well, he's also not shy of throwing a big fat whip. We've all seen him, ending up on the podium at multiple Crankworx Whip-Off World Champs. From the viral balance bike video he was in back in 2010 right up to the present day, it's clear he loves being out messing around on any type of bike. It's a good reminder not to take things too seriously. I know I don't, and we've talked about this some ways of working on your riding here, but it's definitely all about having fun at the end of the day. If you're struggling with some of these techniques we've spoken about, or feel your riding is, well, plateaued, should we say, try to go out and just enjoy being with your buddies and riding your bike, of course. Ride somewhere new, try sessioning a trail with your friends, whatever it is, just enjoy it. And it's also a reminder that it's really about the rider, not the bike. Just look at his Instagram feed to see him smashing laps on his e-bike, ripping on his downhill bike, or putting the miles in on his trail bike. Being open to riding anything and everything has played a big part in getting him where he is today. Mountain biking can get tribal with people hating on people who ride differently to them, or e-bikes, or whatever else it might be. Yep, we're a funny bunch, but really, we're all out there doing it for the same reason at the end of the day. If you've ever wondered just how Jackson can do the things he can do, hopefully this has given you some insights. Now, was there anything you've noticed about his riding that I've missed? Is there any other rider out there you'd like me to focus on next? Let me know in the comments down below. But as always, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and until next time, I'll see you later.